Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. It is 8 o'clock on the East Coast here. Saturday. Happy Saturday. Hope everyone's enjoying their weekend. It's hot everywhere, it seems like hot and very humid and rain and all types of things. I hope everyone's enjoying staying cool and all that too. So, but it is the Women in Fantasy Football series continues, and I got a great returning guest coming up. But before then, hit my music. Let's get it. All right, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Like I said, glad to be back. Happy Saturday. And we are continuing with featuring a lot of incredible women in football, fantasy football series. I've had a lot of great guests, more great guests coming up in the next few weeks until the football season begins, whether it's college, NFL, fantasy football. I just want to highlight and feature as many incredible women in the space that are doing great things in football here. So whether it's content creating or hosting, broadcasting, anything like that. So I just wanted to give a platform and they can share what they're up to this upcoming season and what they got working on and things like that. So like I said, I got a great guest on waiting in the wings, so I'm not going to keep her much longer. But before I bring her on, you can follow the show on all the podcast platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple, YouTube. We're on the BS3 Network, BS3TVLive.com, Roku channel, BS3 Network, Roku channel, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, wherever you consume podcasts. You can find the Real Deal there. You can also find me on all the social media platforms, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook, TikTok. I do have a TikTok. I don't use it much, but I got to start using it because it just putting up the content there is there's a lot of things that's happening on TikTok, so I got to start using that. But I'm there too. So if you follow at Get the Real Deal or me, Courtney Harden, if you just Google that, you can find all the episodes and content there. So, all right. Well, without further ado, I am going to bring in my guest, good friend of the show, just a good friend in general. We met a couple years at the Fantasy Football Expo. I haven't been back. I'm not going this year, or I didn't go last year, not going this year, but trying to go back next year again. But Tootsiepop, Rachel, she is the creator and founder of Unwind Fantasy Football. Check that out as well. Fantasy analyst. Just a all-around great person. And like I said, glad to get her back on the show. So, Rachel, welcome to the show. Back to the show. Really appreciate it.
I'm so thankful to be here, Courtney. It's always a joy to chat with you, and your show is phenomenal. What you're doing to uplift women in the space. So thank you for that, and it's an honor to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate those kind words. And and then you are a big part of just want to feature and any way I can, you want to share your story, things you got coming up, whatever conversation. I try to at least give a space and a platform for, like I say, incredible women that are doing this and all, whether it says media, content creation, or coaching, whatever it is. I just try to have incredible people on the show and just chat and conversate. Really, that's about. I don't even do. I always say it's not an interview. I always send topics and questions, and we could go anywhere we want or wherever you want to go, and we just conversate. So this is I think your third time we just talked about this before we start recording. Your third time on the show. So your podcast family. So I really appreciate you coming back on. Really, I really do.
And like I've told you, you're my favorite to guest on. I will just shout that out and make that public known that
Thank
Courtney
you.
is phenomenal. So if he reaches out and asks you to be a guest, say yes. Don't even question it.
I do appreciate that. I really do, and I really and I can't thank you enough for just being a part of this. And like I said, we've known each other for a couple of years now, and any way I can like say, uplift you and help or whatever it is. Whatever you need, you're always game when I ask you to come on. And I said, "Yep, I got to get Rachel back on," and we just find the time. So it was. I really appreciate the time and everything too. So, but let's get started. But how's everything going with you? And now, like I said, fantasy football. I know we're big on that, and just football in general. But how have you been? And you've been working behind the scenes and doing a lot of different things. I know you just had to unwind a couple weeks ago as well. But how's everything going with you? And what are you looking forward to this upcoming football season, which is will be here in like less than about a month. So about just a little over a month. So how's everything going?
Everything's going great. I am in a couple drafts right now. That's my favorite time is draft season. So I've got probably about five different ones going, some different best ball and an IDP one. So each time it says you're on the clock, I'm like, hey, which one is this? So you have to remember
Yeah,
what
yeah.
scoring settings you're looking at or roster. Like, wait,
Yes.
wait, make sure I'm at the right one. So I draft the right thing.
Yep.
But yeah, so draft season's always exciting. Just summer in general is exciting.
Mhm.
And I live in Minnesota, and so summertime is our time when we have nice weather. So I like to get outside as much as
Oh
possible. But yeah, you mentioned Unwind. I had a couple Unwind Zooms this past July. Just recently on July 20th, we invited some young girls to join us. There were six young girls whose dads play fantasy football, and they've started to play in the last couple of years. So we invited them to join us for an Unwind Zoom. So they got to meet some of their big sisters in fantasy football, and we got to meet them and just talked about fantasy football, and they are incredibly insightful. They probably know a lot more than I do. It's just exciting to see the
yeah.
next generation of women in fantasy football. So that was really inspiring for me, and just really bolstered what Unwind is all about connecting others. So we got to connect
Right.
with them. And then afterwards, though, one of the dads was doing a kids league, so those six girls got to know each
Mm.
other and they got connected through the Unwind Zoom. So connections just keep coming with fantasy football, and I just love to see it.
Yeah, and that's incredible. And I've always um commend you and really what you're doing in the space and I've been part of a couple of the Zooms when we have the co-ed one where we all come in and talk a little trash and just having some fun banter and see how things are going with everybody but Unwind is incredible what you do. You said just connecting women who just love fantasy football, safe space to connect and support and empower each other. And I love that you have this the platform for people that that might not have that don't are either um don't like to be out in the forefront or anything like that. But you said it's a safe space here, so you guys are just talking about life, talk about your fantasy football drafts, your lineups, some tips, and now like you said, you had some young women, young girls there now too that you said they got a chance to maybe ask questions to you guys
Hmm.
and just to talk and everything too. So again, you just keep giving opportunities and a space for women and girls to talk and like I said to look up. They look up to you as well. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, it was really wonderful for me. It's just really refreshing, really inspiring.
Mhm.
Because I love fantasy football and just being able to share that love with others and be able to share that passion and talk with others about it is just wonderful.
Yeah, definitely it is, and like you said, with the young generation, the next generation, and everything too, and fantasy football has grown. Fantasy sports has just grown so much, and it keeps getting more and more. It seems like now, and I know you probably seen it too. It's like there's new new people in the it's coming up and you're meeting new people and we're like wow okay somebody else got a podcast about fantasy football or fantasy sports and it's incredible just to see the growth of where when I started back in geez I know I'm aging myself but it was late 90s and the early 2000s I started fantasy sports started with basketball but it's just for just seeing it for the last 25 years of what it's become now with so many different leagues. Like you say, you talk about some of the different leagues. We'll get into some of those that you're doing. It's tremendous, and to see more women and people in general, kids getting into it and loving the draft, and they can learn a lot of different things too, because research, and you got to be prepared for these drafts, and and have fun on top of that too.
Exactly. That's the number one, is to always have fun with
Yeah.
fantasy football.
Yes, and I think that gets sometimes that gets because we're so competitive, and that gets kind of lost in it. But at the end of the day, because there's sometimes there's money involved in some ways, lot of leagues, but at the end of the day, it's still a lot of fun. It's still connecting and being in community with with people like us that are just trying to and get to know each other too. On top of that, and on top of being competitive, so yeah, but it's all in fun. I love it. I really do. So, but talk about Unwind and what you've already, for the last month or so. What else you got upcoming that you can announce? Because I know there's always surprises and everything too. But what you can announce, what you
Yeah.
got coming up on Unwind before the season starts?
So the Fantasy Football Expo is in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We there was a large Unwind presence last year. There's a lot of women that went to the expo for the first time and had an Unwind dinner. And so this year we're going to do an Unwind dinner again
That's
for
cool.
the ladies that are there to have a meal together and get to meet in person and chat in person. And then I well, as you know, I do always have surprises. I can do
Yeah.
like a little spoiler. I'll have an
Okay.
official announcement this coming week. But Unwind will be doing a women's panel at the expo that I will be
Mm.
hosting.
Well,
I have
congratulations.
Thank
Yeah.
you. It's been in the works for a couple of months, and I've assembled
Yeah.
a lineup that I'm really proud of and can't wait to announce who will be showing their talents on the panel stage. So look for that announcement in the coming days. But I'm really excited for that. Yeah, so it's my goal to shine a light on women from both behind the scenes and analysts that are in front of the camera. So I'm blending women from across different spectrums within the fantasy industry, and I'm really excited.
That's big news. That congratulations first and foremost. That is, I've known how much hard work you put in from behind the scenes, and I've seen it firsthand. And when they had the Women of Fantasy Football 2 years ago, the panel, which was incredible,
Right.
that's when we met in person. And I remember we were talking about this, like either you're going to be on that stage or you're going to be, now you're hosting. I mean, that's even incredible. That's like even better. But yeah, that congratulations, well deserved. And now hosting and just shining a light. And you already been doing it anyway with Unwind, but now to host it, and I can't wait to see the lineup. I mean, I don't spoil it or anything like that. I can't wait to see the lineup, because I know you might have a couple rabbits out of that. You're gonna have some rabbits out of hat on this one. So because I've seen some of the people that you already, some of the incredible women you've had on Wine, and so I look forward to seeing how that's going to go down. So that's very very cool. I really enjoy that for you. I really do.
Yeah, I'm very excited. And so for those going to the expo, you can look forward to that. And it'll be at noon on that Sunday when the panels are going on. So we're at noon on the main stage. So it's going to be a good event. So come join us for that. And then I think they always record all the panels that will be
Yeah.
later available. So everyone else can tune into that at a later point. But
Right.
yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, man, and I'm gonna miss this one. Jeez, this would have been a really good one. I would have been there, probably recording it somehow, or definitely would have been supporting for sure. But I would definitely watch it. I know they usually do record all the panels from there, so that's very incredible. So I'm looking forward to so everyone, yes, if you're there, check out the panels, check out all the panels, but the online one for sure. And yeah, there's, like I said, there's like a convention, panels, drafts, party. Yeah, if you're a fantasy football, and if you're not, you just want to connect with people, yes, go to the Fantasy Football Expo, even if just one time in Canton. So yeah, definitely you have a good time, because there's so much to do. The Hall of Fame, you can do that. You can go there. A lot of restaurants and yeah, just incredible people just to connect with, and they usually have games, and they said they got the drafts and all those things, and then the expo itself. So yeah, It's incredible.
Yeah.
Every
And if
time.
you're someone that's looking to become a creator analyst, it's a great networking
Yes.
opportunity. You meet
Oh
all the
my
big
goodness.
bigwigs at all the different companies
Hmm.
and all these top analysts, or at the very least, just to get their insights. Just just chat with them at a party and be like, "Hey, what do you do with this kind of
Yep.
strategy or this kind of approach with your analysis?" And you can just soak up all the knowledge you can. So it's also helps to bolster you within the industry if you're interested in that, as well as for fans to
Yeah.
share in the love of fantasy football. It just bridges all that together in
Yeah,
one
it
place.
does. It does. It definitely does bridge that. You said you're just getting into content creating and or you're into fantasy football or fantasy sports. You're right. There's a lot of big wigs there, and you can pick their brain. They're mostly open and to ask questions. And even then, if you're at those panels, that's the opportunity to be able to ask some questions and listen, take notes. And we were doing that. We were doing it a couple years ago. We was taking notes and it was good. It was good to now see people in person and really like pick their brain about strategies and things like that. Yeah. So watch a live draft there too. Yeah. Yes, it's incredible. So if you got one opportunity to go, I recommend definitely do that as a content creator, fantasy football uh, owner, general manager, or anything, or just want to just go and hang out. It's a good time to hang out too, for sure. So let's talk about this upcoming fantasy football season. I know you said you're in 6 leagues now, as of now.
For managed leagues,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, you're
not
managing
counting
the
best
six.
ball.
Yeah, not best ball, 6 managed leagues, and we always talk about how many leagues we're in and what we're gonna concentrate on and stuff like that. And I wanted to ask you about like your when did you start like your draft preparation, or in the sense of like your research? I mean, don't want to give too much up because you want to keep a lot of that, but like yeah, spreadsheets, websites, magazines. Like when you start to lock in and say, okay, it's time to really get serious and get ready for the fantasy football season.
I think I start around May. That's when a lot of
Okay.
my best balls start.
Yeah.
So I start looking at after, the draft has settled and free agency, major moves have settled. So you start to see what the forecast looks like for 2025. So I look at various websites at different rankings. I study the ADP. I'm on Sleeper all the time, every day. So
Yeah.
at drafting, so I'm studying the moves, after some big news, you see somebody's ADP is moving. So you just kind of keep an eye on that and um, adjust as needed. I just take in whatever content I can too within the
Yeah.
fantasy sports. I like a lot of podcasts. I watch various podcasts
Mm,
of different experts. I like to read articles. I like to consume as much as I can because as a creator myself, I can only get better if I know what else is out there, and the other
right.
people in this industry help us level up. We can be if we're we make each other level up and make the whole industry what it is. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't approach it as a competition, like that person's doing that content so I can't. Everyone
Mm,
has their unique perspective, unique
yeah.
angle, and it's beneficial to you to know what's out there, what other people are doing. And as a fan you can be excited about that, and then as a creator you can be like, I like that, but I wonder if I could do it this way, and then
Yep.
just add something more for the industry, for more consumers to consume. Because all the audience members are all the fans are different. We all have unique perspectives. We all like to consume content in various ways. We like different approaches, and so having more perspectives in the industry just makes us better.
Yep, I agree 100%. I think very well said. Uh you're right. I think it does. It's not competition. I don't look at it like that either. Like you said, yes, when you're in leagues and other drafts and things like that, yes, you're competing against each other. But to consume, like I said, we're both content creators. We I like to listen to other podcasts, and I like like you said, what you're doing, whoever else is writing, and it's yeah, it's like I love to consume as much as I can too. I got magazines. I listen to other analysts. You said mock drafts all the time. You said on Sleeper, it's just like you got a Sleeper app up. It's like yep. Let's get into, let's see what's going on here and as well. So yeah, it's all good to. And then you said, and then I'm going to do it this way. You said I'm going to do, so they got their thing, how they do it. Okay, I'm gonna go from a different angle. We might not agree on who's the number one pick, who's in the top 10 or anything like that, and that's good, But you're like, okay, I want to hear what they have to say, to for their to validate. Okay, this person's number one. If they think Jamar Chase is the number one selection, I might think it's Bijan Robinson. I might think it's Saquon Barkley or something like that. It's good to have those types of discussions. I mean, and you can't go wrong with either one. It just all depends. So yeah, I agree. How do we consume it, and also checking out different websites and magazines or whatever, or listen to different podcasts. I think it's a really good, and that sets you up for success as well.
Yeah, I agree. I've been in the industry for a couple years. Well, as a fan for many years, for several
Yeah.
years, and then as a creator for about 2 years now. And at various times, I have heard like other industry people say, I don't read other people's content, and I totally disagree with that
Yeah.
standpoint. And it's like I feel like I can't get better unless I know what else is out there.
Yep.
And I just love fantasy football, so I like to just have as much knowledge as I can,
Yep.
and then go from there.
Yeah, for sure. And I had Samantha Holt on yesterday, and another good friend, and doing big things as well for Matthew Berry Fantasy Life, and we were talking about the same thing. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of different, just a lot of different people around the industry that are just doing a lot of different things, but we're consuming it. And I agree with you on this too. It's like they say, I don't listen to anybody else's thing. I'm thinking, I don't know about that. It's like you don't have just that tunnel vision. You're listening to somebody. You're listening to somebody because if you think that way, you're saying, okay, I'm in competition with them, so you must be. You must be see something. You're on social media, so you do see content. You do see other things. So yeah, it's that's interesting when people do say that. I disagree too. I don't pay attention to them saying that, but it's yeah, it is very interesting that people do that. They do say that, but they do pay attention. For
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. So, since you said your research purpose wise, what do you think makes a great fantasy manager, like a great fantasy football manager?
I think number one is engagement, whether
Mm,
that's paying attention to injury news, to team moves, how they're utilizing a player. So that's number one. And then also within each league, engaging with your league mates, paying attention to your own roster and making moves that are the best put you in the best position to win each week.
yep.
Paying attention to the waiver wire, trying to stay ahead of everyone else is also key. So just keeping your ears and your eyes on all the news and paying attention is number one. Watching as many games as you can. I know time is finite with for all of
Yeah,
us,
you're
but
right.
trying
Yes.
to pay attention to what's going on across the NFL, other than just your home team, just to have so you have um, a broad scope of the fantasy football landscape.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say engagement is number one, and how you utilize that with getting your information, and then how you're going to apply it to your roster, and then engaging with your league mates, and just remembering that fantasy football is fun,
Yep.
and community is key to making it enjoyable. And then hopefully it all leads to you winning your championship. Because if you're
y-
paying attention and others don't, you're going to have an edge by doing that.
Yep.
It does. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily who's the smartest. If
Hmm.
you're paying attention, you are going to have the edge. And so anybody out there who's playing fantasy football, just pay attention. It doesn't matter if you're an expert or a consumer. Paying attention is number one.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah. Yes. I agree. 100%. I don't have anything to really add to that. He said paying attention because you said waiver wire, and you're right. You get in some leagues, and everyone has they're very smart and know what they're doing. So you're not it's not like you're gonna outsmart just about everybody in your league. It's just more of engagement and community, and then you could find those things paying attention. You're right, and I think that's being prepared from the draft. It doesn't start just at the draft; it's even after the draft, and free agency and pickups and okay, who didn't get who, and look at the other managers that are in your league. See, find their, you say, okay, they didn't pick this person up, so I can, okay, I'll just scoop them. Yeah, watch as many games, consume as what you can. Yeah, I agree 100% on all those. I found that question fascinating. I had heard that on a podcast. I was like, I'm gonna start asking that question a different way. What makes a good, fantasy manager? Because we all have different strategies. We talked about that. We all have different ways how we approach those things. But at the end of the day, it's all about having fun.
Yeah, and I love that you threw that question in because we are all trying to get better each year. I know I
Yeah,
am. Like we
yeah,
want to keep getting chasing those wins, and we're gonna have bad weeks. Just don't,
yes,
so so number one, don't be a sore loser, and don't be a
yeah,
sore winner on the other side. It's all about
yeah.
keeping a positive attitude through the wins and the losses, and adjusting when you need to, and just keep going with the flow.
Yeah, because you're never out of it. When you're in these leagues, we know you can start 0-5, 0-6, and you're
That
never.
that was
Yes,
me last year. Yeah.
yep, I did that a couple years ago. So my work league, and for some reason, I guess maybe because I've, I do this. We love it. We love fantasy football. And going into, I had supposedly a reputation. Oh, he's gonna like he drives a good team and this and that. And it's like I don't want that. No, I just want to play, have fun, and win. Yes, but I started 0-5, and they were like, oh, you're the expert. It's like no, I don't want to be called that or anything like that. Injuries happened first couple of weeks. I think I had Saquon. This was a couple of years ago. He got injured. Then the next year I had Chris McCaffrey. He got injured first 2 weeks and he's out for a while. But then once I got all those guys back, and again, like you said, engagement, paying attention, got to hit the waiver wire,
Mhm.
and then started to creep up. And next thing you know, I'm like 11-6 or something like that. And
Nice.
yeah, got to the playoffs, didn't win, but got to the playoffs, and yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, you're right. You're never out of it. But if you engage and pay attention, and just having fun, and like I said, yeah, 0-5, you don't want to be. We don't like that, but
No.
we can always dig out. Oh, it only takes one win, and then it's a week to week, and yeah,
Mhm.
so I'll
Yeah.
adjust it.
That was me as well last year. I started
Yeah,
0-5 in one year, and I'm human, and I was really down and
yeah,
distraught, and
hmm
we got a wonderful fantasy football community, and I just reached out, shout out to Marcus Grant. I was like, "Oh, am I
okay, yeah.
doomed? Am I doomed?" And he's like, "You're okay. Don't panic."
Right. Now if you're 0-10, that's
And-
different. That's a different
yes.
story, right?
Yes, so his encouragement, and
Yep.
he gave me some advice for that upcoming week for my starting lineup, and I was able to turn the corner. And like you, I made the playoffs. I didn't win, but I made the
Yeah.
playoffs, and so that was encouraging. And I think each year playing fantasy football, I learned something new. So that was a learning lesson for me. Don't get swallowed up by the panic. You can
Yes.
just, you just adjust and just keep moving forward. And you're not going to win every league either. You're going to
Right.
have some teams that are doomed, but still play week to week. Don't give up. Don't be that league mate that just stops setting their lineup. Keep
Yep.
setting it up through the end because you want to have the best team that you can do. So just using your strategy and your skills and setting the best lineup you can and just doing the best you can. See it through. You're not going to always win and make the playoffs in every league, but just keep fighting the good fight.
Yep, exactly. Yep, keep fighting a good fight. That's very well said. You're right. Because even in the Scott Fish Bowl, I was really bad last
Same.
year. Oh my goodness, I was like really bad. I thought like, oh, I got a really good team, and we all think that when we draft, like, oh, I did really good. This is the
Right?
best team. This is the best team, and the Scott, and it was just like I just kept losing. I think I was 0-10, then 0-12, and then at the end. I really caught fire, but it was too late by then. But I was having fun. The league was just competitive, and it was just the league I was in was very competitive, but it's fun. The Scott Fish Bowl is it's all about charity and bringing so many different. I mean, it's the biggest league out there. It just brings so many different people and that's involved, and I love it. I think it's my third or fourth year playing, and I love when I get those invites. I'm sure you do too. Get that
Yes.
invite, and
So
it's like, wow, yes, okay, here we go again. And I think I got a good team this year too, but we'll see.
Right, we think that now. I like the hope right now, the hope and the optimism in this
Yes.
month, last month before the season starts,
Yes.
and we find out the truth. But yeah, a good shout out for Scott Fish and what he's doing with
Yeah.
his tournament. He's been gracious to my Unwind group and being able to
Hmm.
give away invites both this year and last year. And fun story, one of the invites that went out last year, the individual from Mexico, she was newer to playing fantasy and she thought the tournament was, I thought that was just for experts. And I was like, no, 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 it's for everybody. So she
Yeah.
played last year. And then this year she hosted the Mexico City live draft.
Wow. See?
So going from not knowing if she can play, and she played and dominated last year, and then she hosted this year. So Scott Fish tournament just brings community together, and it just shines a light on people and just brings the best out of everyone.
Yeah, it does. It really, really does. And you meet people that you might have not even. I mean, you might be in a league with someone that you have listened to, and then you're thinking, "Wait, I've seen that name before, or I've seen their article before, or something like that." And then next thing you know, you're connecting, and now you're having having fun drafting with each other. But yeah, you're right. The optimism, in the optimism at the end of July, early August, because I know I got my one podcast league done for the last 5 years, getting ready 6 years, and every year I feel like, oh, this is it, this is the year. I get so close, so close, so close, and yeah, and I always think I got the best team, and can do so much preparing, the preparation, and but again, it's all about fun, and injuries happen, and somebody doesn't perform. I don't get upset about that. It's at the end of the day, it is a lot of fun, and you just go and, like I said, go next year and do it all over again. So we just can't stop.
Right. Yeah, it's important not to get like down and discouraged. It's like,
Yeah.
things are going to happen to the best of us, to the best of the
Yep.
experts. There,
Yep.
things just don't work out sometimes. But you do your best. And part of the job as a fantasy football manager is how do you going to adjust to those challenges, and staying flexible and paying attention to different things, and then seeing how it pans out.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. All right, just got two more before I let you go. And we got to talk Minnesota Vikings. As
Yeah.
you said, you know you're a big fan of the Vikings, and they got a new quarterback. Well, he's drafted last year, but now he's healthy, he's ready to go. Young quarterback, JJ McCarthy. And what's your expectations for the Vikings? Last year they had really good year. Sam Darnold led them, and now he's in Seattle. But now you said JJ McCarthy is they still, Kevin O'Connell, really good coach, offensive mind for sure. They still got Justin Jefferson. So Minnesota offensively should be good as long as you said JJ McCarthy takes that step. I know he'll be a rookie technically, but yeah. But what's your expectation for your Minnesota Vikings?
I think it's highly favorable. I think
Mhm.
Kevin O'Connell joining the team was a game changer. He
Yeah.
is a quarterbacks coach. What he was able to do with Kirk Cousins, we had winning seasons with him, and then what he did with Sam Darnold. Um, it's not all the coaches. I mean, the quarterbacks have the talent, but Kevin O'Connell is
Right.
able to bring out the best in these quarterbacks. He has that talent um, to know what their strengths are and be able to capitalize on it.
Yep.
So he has that skill as a coach, as a leader, which is very important for any bosser in whatever industry. If you can identify the strengths in your people and bring out the best of them, just see what they can accomplish and produce. And Sam Darnold did that last year, and I have high expectations for JJ McCarthy this year. And I think last year having him sit it out for the year is beneficial. He was able to observe how the NFL operates, how the Vikings playbook works. He got a sense of Kevin O'Connell. I was reading that even last year Kevin O'Connell would do weekly meetings with JJ McCarthy just to keep him in the loop. So
Yeah.
having that connection, I think, is really key for the Vikings organization. And then that being said, the offensive weapons are no joke. Justin Jefferson, I mean, the passing attack is going to be on fire. You're not going to have an elite talent like Justin Jefferson and not use him to the full
Right.
extent.
Yeah.
And then you have Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson also contributing. And then you
Yep.
have both Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason in the run game, which
Hmm.
will be interesting to see how that split goes this year. I still think it'll be a really good year for Aaron Jones. I'm drafting him everywhere I can,
Yep.
but it's interesting to pay attention to Jordan Mason. If you can get him in later rounds, do it. because Aaron Jones is getting older and there could be injury concerns, and just to protect yourself and have another option there. And I do think there will be some kind of committee. I don't know what kind of split it will be, but I think Jordan Mason will still be used even with Aaron Jones at full go. So that'll be interesting to see how the Vikings offense operates, and the defense is was awesome last year and is continuing is going to be awesome again. They've got some new players that they brought in. So on all fronts they are a solid team. The one challenge is the NFC North is competitive. Last
Yes.
year and this year, like there's no telling who's going to win the NFC North. So that's
Yep.
the challenge the Vikings have. How are they going to stand apart? How are they going to get the edge and rise above the Lions and the Bears and the Packers? So that's going to be their challenge, is how they can set apart from them.
Yeah, great breakdown, and I agree. And somebody like you said, with Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers in football. I mean, hands down, top two, yeah, top two at least. I mean, him and Jamar Chase, I think one and two, whoever. I think it's just it's like splitting hairs, and it doesn't matter who's the QB over in there. JJ, he gets it done. They're not, the quarterbacks are not silly. They're gonna throw him the football, and he's gonna he's too much of a weapon not to get the football to. So, and you guys had quite a few quarterbacks over the last few years just because of injuries and things like that.
Oh
But
yes,
each quarterback always looked for him because they know, okay, he's a weapon. He gets open.
he gets
So
open.
he gets open. He's always, like you say, always open. But he's a weapon. So you got to use him. So no matter who's back there, they know that he's the guy. You said Jordan Addison, another receiver that speed and could get gets open. So he's on that outside. And he said T.J. Hawkinson, he wasn't himself after coming off an injury.
Correct.
Now healthy,
Mm-hmm.
heading to training camp. So we've seen what he's capable of. As you said, the passing attack should be fine. You said as long as they can keep JJ McCarthy upright and they can protect him,
Yes.
and hopefully, I know he's young, he's going to make mistakes, but he's got the weapons. He's got the weapons on the outside, and he said the run game, that 1-2 punch, could be. I still like Aaron Jones too. I really
Mm-hmm.
do. And like you said, if you got an opportunity to get him, I mean, he ran for 1,100 over 1,100 yards last year.
Right.
And I know the Vikings said they want to use him a little less, don't give him so much of a heavy workload. So that's when they got Jordan Mason, who's just I think he's gonna be tremendous and help out too. Just the different type of dynamic. So you got a 1-2 punch, like you said, on the run game too. So yeah, JJ McCarthy should be. I think he'll be fine. And yeah, Minnesota, like I said, the only because is that division. That's it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just, as you said, Detroit and Chicago should be improved, and Green Bay,
Yeah.
they'll be right in the mix. So yeah, it's gonna be that NFC North. Ooh, that's a brutal division for sure.
Yes, it's dangerous.
Yeah, it's a dangerous division. And then it's like with me as an Eagles fan, NFC East. Yes, I think it's gonna be more competitive because I think Dallas, as long as Dak is healthy,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're still, they'll still be in the mix, but it's Washington. That's the team I'm really worried about because they
Oh
just made it
yes.
to the NFC Championship last year. And Jane Davis is going to take another big step, and he's going to be improved. So yeah, I can, yeah, but the Giants, I think they'll be a little bit better too, but I think they'll be at the bottom. But
Yeah.
other than that, yeah, I'm afraid of Washington. I am. Washington is the team, but that NFC North that's a brutal division for sure.
Yeah, I agree with Jaden Daniels. He is a unique talent. His mental
Yeah,
processing and what he's able to do with the quick thinking and being able to pivot and adjust on the fly. What he did last year as a rookie, I was like,
yeah,
holy moly, this is the future
yeah,
of the NFL. I love it. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
yeah, so he's gonna have a great year. So yeah, I would be worried as a as a Philly fan.
Yeah, and he's in our division, so it's gonna be. Yes, the Eagles did bring back a lot of people. They brought back most of the offense, except for one offensive lineman. So the continuity will be there. New offensive coordinator and all that. But yeah, I am worried about Washington though. That's the one team, and well, especially in the division, that I am a little worried about for sure. So it should be an interesting. It's gonna be a great year. It's gonna be a really good year. So I'm looking forward to it. But Rachel, Always a pleasure having
Yes.
you on. As always, I can't thank you enough for the time and everything too. But let everyone know they can follow you, reach out to you, and they said you have Unwind. I know you're always looking for different women in this industry to just to continue to uplift and just conversate with and connect with too. But yeah, let everyone know they can follow you and Unwind.
Yeah, you can follow me over on Twitter and on Instagram at Tootsiepop6. Also at UnwindFF. We're on Twitter for all the announcements relating to Unwind. So we got a couple things at the expo that Unwind is excited to do. Like I said,
Yeah.
we had a big panel that you'll have official announcement in the coming days, and we'll have a dinner for women who are there, and we'll just be around and getting to meet other women throughout the weekend. So that's exciting. I plan to have probably for sure one more Unwind Zoom before the season starts. So look for that later in August. That'll be announced after the expo. And yeah, it just should be a wonderful season. I'm really excited, and let's go football.
Yeah, let's go football. You are absolutely right. Let's go football, and looking forward to, as you say, looking forward to the Unwind panel. Congratulations on the hosting, and it was inevitable. It was coming. I knew you were going to be I knew you were going to be a part of something there. But now being a host is that's incredible. So yeah, much props to you on that, and congratulations on that, and thank you again. I can't thank you enough, and I really appreciate it. And best of luck in the season. And yeah, and looking forward to doing this again with you sometime during the season as well.
Definitely. Thank you for having me again, Courtney. It's always a joy to chat with you. Thank you.
All right. Yep. No problem. You are very welcome. Thank you again, and enjoy the rest of the weekend. And stay cool because, like you said, it's hot. It's not even August yet, and I know it's gonna get even warmer in the next couple of months. But enjoy the rest of the summer. But I'm sure we'll be talking before then. So again, enjoy the summer, and I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Take care.
All right. You too. Thanks.